Okay, let's just talk about the elephant in the room right off. Well, there's a whole lot of elephants. I mean, an entire swarm of pachyderms in this room. I mean, but we're just going to talk about one today because I got a solution for it. So you're going to want to stick around for that. Let's talk about the egg prices. You know, I guarantee this is a conversation that's happening around every single dinner table all over the country right now. And for good reason. I mean, the prices are through the roof. I mean, I think in California it's like $1 an egg, and it's not far away from that here in Western North Carolina. All across this country, I mean, everybody's feeling it. And if the egg prices in and of themselves are high, well, all the value added products that are made out of eggs are obviously going to go higher as well. I was just listening to Pinball Preparedness just a few hours ago, and he was talking about how the price of eggs, if I remember correctly, I think he said they're going to go up about another 45% this year. So hold on to your hat. But folks, it's always been my policy, let's call it that I never offer a problem to which I don't at least offer one or two solutions. And that's what this video is going to be about today. I know I've been kind of gloom and doom about some of the weather out there, and I think rightfully so, but I can't be a one-trick pony, especially when I have solutions, and we've presented them right here on this channel. And we're going to talk about them and how it might and almost certainly will help you and millions of others if you decide to use them. Now, even Joel Salatin in his blog has been writing lately about how this whole thing of, them culling all these chickens makes 0 sense. It's not that it makes 2% sense. It is, I'll put it this way, it's too stupid to be stupid. Now, those are my words, or actually I'm borrowing somebody's words. I don't know who they are. But honestly, you could sit here and say, okay, this is a planned, this is planned, this is that. Of course, you know what camp I'm going to fall in. I absolutely 100% believe, without doubt, that this thing is planned because it's too stupid. Think about it. There is an animal on your homestead that when they get sick, or let's say you got sheep out there, let's say you got pigs, goats, whatever the case may be, and you bring them back to health and they make it, and let's say other ones don't, which ones do you breed? Clearly the ones that got through it, okay? So, yeah. What they're doing right now, culling all these chickens, especially ones that were just in close proximity of ones that had it. I mean, boy, thank God we don't do that with humans. Oh, wait, I think we might actually do, but I digress. It's stupid, up one side and down the other, okay? So we know what the problem is. So now let's just jump right into solutions. Now, I was on the phone with Eric Sider the other day, and he was telling me that record numbers out where he lives in California are buying chickens as fast as they can bring them in. I know that it's happening out here as well. And I'm sure it's happening all over the country. Everybody's thinking, okay, they heard an Alan Jackson song and I'm gone country. And they're going to go out there, get some chickens, and you're going to raise them. Okay? Now, for all you people that live in the HOA and you're not allowed to have chickens, tell them your chickens identify as dogs. And let's just see if you can get away with that. So let's get down to brass tacks here. Everybody's buying chickens. And if you've never raised them before, okay, you're about to find out that if you're buying feed off the shelf, that you're not really any money ahead. You really aren't. If you're just going to get your chickens and you want a laissez-faire approach to raising chickens, yeah, you're going to pay what you were paying before, but it's still going to be pretty expensive for those chickens. And by the way, they're not going to start laying as soon as they grow up. A lot of breeds, it's going to take about 6 months, sometimes even more. Okay, there are other breeds that lay sooner. But think about this. You're not money ahead. And what happens if they just raise the cost of feed, which is almost certainly going to happen anyway? You're going to be right back to square one. Now you're doing more work for the same number of eggs, and then you're going to be in the same spot. Is that really a solution? It could be for some of you out there. Let me suggest to you another solution. One that I think we've done more videos on it than probably anybody on this planet. And you've heard me talk about it many, many times in the past if you've watched any of our videos from way back. It's called the chicken tractor on steroids. If I'm not mistaken, I think we have at least 3 playlists where we raised meat birds in that system. We've raised layers in that system. We've raised dual-purpose birds in that system. I mean, we've raised just about everything in there but pterodactyls. So it works. Now, why is this a solution? Why am I saying that this is the cure to all your woes in terms of chickens, or at least in terms of eggs. Well, I'm not going to say that it is, but let me first give you a history on it because I really need to give a shout out to the people who inspired it. First of all, it was Carl Hammer at Vermont Composting. Then Jeff Lawton took a visit there, saw what he was doing on a very large scale, scaled it down to where it could be done on a farm level. And then, of course, he scaled it down again, but you'll have to check out Jeff Lawton's videos. And then, of course, we grabbed this thing, I don't even know how many years ago, when he first came out with it. And I was thinking, you got to be kidding me. This thing actually exists. Let me go give it a shot. Well, I didn't have the same inputs as Jeff, so I had to use other things, but I still got to that finish line. I was running 3 different chicken tractor on steroids simultaneously. And yes, it is a lot of work. I'm not going to kid you. But there is no better chicken, compost, egg, meat laying system or meat system on this planet to my awareness. If there is one, I'd be doing it. So I definitely got to give a shout out, first of all, to Carl Hammer and, of course, to Jeff Lawton, the pimp daddy of permaculture himself. So what is this system? Why am I saying this is the cure to these egg problems? Number one, you're going to find out that when you check these systems out, you're going to find out that, number one, you get them out of the brooder a whole lot faster. So they're not on chick feed for very long. In fact, William came up with a way, and if you watch those playlists, you'll see what I'm talking about. He used it where we used spent rice from restaurants to get them out on the pasture quicker because the rice resembled maggots and they're hardwired to want to go after those sort of things. So we got them out of the brooder in as early as 2 weeks, depending on the breed. No later than 3 for sure. So anyway, in this system, in a nutshell, what you're going to find out is that in that one system, you will raise more eggs than you can possibly eat in most cases. You'll raise more chicken than you could possibly eat, depending on how you choose to do it. And you will raise more compost than you can probably use on your farm. And I'm not talking like this store-bought stuff out there that every time we look under a microscope at it has 0 life in it. I'm talking like bomb compost. In fact, Eric Sider, you can go check out his YouTube channel. We'll list it down below. Eric Sider sent us some of the compost that he raised in his chicken tractor on steroid system. And he has an urban setup because you can scale this thing as high or as low as you need it to be. He had an urban setup, and it was some of the best compost we've ever tested ever. Absolutely biocomplete. Numbers off the charts in every way imaginable. And I promise you, you cannot buy compost that good. So you now have a system that raises, and in that system, you can raise anywhere up to 1 to 3 cubic yards of compost per week. We were doing it where we were raising 3 cubic yards per week. I got the videos to prove it, folks. You can do it. Now, what's the downside? Of course, there's a downside to everything. I'll put it this way. The closer you get to being as holistic as you can get is always going to require more labor out of you. Okay, you can go ahead and put your cows, your sheep, your goats, whatever out in the field, and then do the Columbus method as Greg Judy talks about, and go check out them a couple times a year. And they're going to destroy your pastures, but that's one method. If that's the way you're used to doing things, well, maybe this ain't the method for you because it does require more labor, considerably more labor. But in this system, and I've shown the numbers in these videos, not only did we raise all that, more eggs, so many eggs, in fact, that we feed our dogs pretty much eggs only. Eggs and, of course, some guts that I get from the animals I process. We raised so many eggs that we were swimming in eggs. I mean, we had to make pound cakes and stuff because we had so many eggs. I mean, falafel, you name it. I mean, whatever has a lot of eggs in it, that's what we had to use. And that system does require work. You're going to be out there, you're going to be flipping compost piles. I ain't going to kid you. Depending on the system you use. You're going to be flipping compost piles. You're going to be tending to those chickens. It's going to require. But now let me ask you, which is easier? Go out there, get another job just to pay for your food bill, or learn another skill that you could put to work right in your own backyard or neighborhood. Maybe you're infirmed. Maybe you're injured. Maybe you're a little long in years and you need help. Maybe you get a whole group of people out there, have a watch party, watch these videos, because right now, William is currently doing a stationary version of a chicken tractor on steroids. William is my son, and he's the permaculture consultant on YouTube. Go check out what he's doing. Go check out Eric Sider's video. Jason, my friend at Kentucky Sustainable Living, he decided he was going to make the chicken tractor on meth because he's in Kentucky. I'm just joking, of course. But anyway, that's what he chose to call it. Folks, these systems, and there's a bunch of others out there. James over at Strand Farm, he did it. If I'm not mistaken, Two Old Crows Homestead, I think they were doing it for a while. I don't know if they still are. But the fact is, these systems work. So instead of going out there buying, here's the major difference in this system. Instead of buying a bunch of store-bought feed that you're going to pay a fortune for, where I don't know how many people these days have more money than time, but it's usually the other way around with the people I run with. So instead of going out there buying a bunch of feed and throwing it in there, what you're throwing in there is food scraps, garden scraps, things like that. And then the chickens derive all of their protein from the compost piles that they're interacting with. Folks, I mean, they produce, in fact, and Jeff Lawton proved it, and I proved it as well. They actually lay more in this system than they do in a regular standard chicken raising system. Folks, you win all the way around. You can raise dual purpose birds in this system, okay? Not only are you going to raise all the eggs you need, but you can rotate them out. You can take some of the ones that don't perform well out of there, hatch out some eggs, put some more back in. Or maybe you got one over here, and then you process these birds. Meanwhile, you're raising up some others to take their place when you put them in the freezer. Folks, there are so many solutions out there. Like I wear a shirt, and it's a quote from Bill Mollison that says, "The problems of this world become more and more complex, but the solutions are embarrassingly simple." And they truly are. But this solution will require more out of you. Now, people are going to say to me, well, I don't know where I can go to source this stuff. That's the biggest complaint I get. Look, I'm not hearing it. If I can do this in small town DeKalb, Texas, small town Kansas, where there ain't none of these things around there, working with mom and pops, and I even show you how and what to do and how to get your foot in the door with all these I got people throwing food scraps at me here in Western North Carolina. Look, perhaps I'll do a video. I think I have before, but I'll have to do an updated video on the do's and don'ts when you go out there seeking food scraps. And somebody's going to say, well, they're not organic. Well, you don't let perfect be the enemy of decent, okay? Look, man, at the end of the day, you got to put bread on the table. And if you need means to do it, you got to do what you got to do, bottom line. I mean, I would want you and everybody else to be as holistic as possible, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I mean, there's so many different places where you can go and you can have them work with you. I'm an expert on this. Look, I don't call myself an expert at a whole lot out there, but I'm probably an expert on knowing how to get your foot in the door when it comes to finding food scraps. And you know what? I'll probably do a video on that sort of thing. It might have to be on Patreon because I'm not so sure how much I can get away right here on YouTube talking about some of the things you might have to do. So I'll keep you abreast of that, or maybe I'll try to come up with some clever way of showing you how to do it. All the do's and don'ts, because I've spent years and years and years perfecting this. Not only were we feeding our chickens for free, but using this very same methods that I use to raise our pigs, I could say for free, but I'm not. We raised them for 21 cents a pound. We produce so much abundance in these systems, and like I said, I got the videos to prove it. We had to give away 3 pigs, give them away. And we did butchery classes to show you what to do with them. And then, of course, the guts on those pigs, we fed back to the chickens in the chicken tractor on steroids. In fact, all the chickens we processed in one of our systems, I think we had 50 birds that we processed. We had a processing class over here. I'm pretty sure that's where we met Ben and Denise over at Renewed Homestead. We had to give all those chickens away because I got 8 freezers out here, and all of them are filled to the brim. Folks, there is so much abundance out there, but everybody would have you to believe that you got to stay on this chain. You got to stay on, the standard orthodoxy and how you do things. Like, just put your cows out there. No, there are people out there, and I'm one of them, that are showing you ways that make all the difference in the world, that can move the needle in the biggest way possible. So, once again, I'm going to recommend, go back. If you want to know more about this system, go watch all of our videos. Watch what William is currently doing at the Permaculture Consultant, and go look at Eric Sider, because the cool thing about this is on Eric's side, you're going to see how to do it in a very scaled down version. And he is so thorough that, and he's also great with answering questions. William is also doing the very same thing, except his is static. Mine was mobile. You're going to see it in every single way possible. And by all means, check out Jeff Lawton's. See if you got a better way of doing it. But I had to invent different parts of this to make it fit my particular circumstance. Now, I will warn you, I've often advised people, do not do the chicken tractor on steroids until you are A, you have a working knowledge of compost, and B, have a working knowledge of chickens. Because this is an advanced technique, but you can learn it. Not everything can be taught, but everything can be learned, a guy with a whole lot of sense once said. And I truly believe that if you have every desire of learning how to do this, you will knock it out of the park. But you're going to have some disappointments, you're going to have some failures, and you're going to have a lot of questions along the way as well. But hopefully a lot of them will be answered in this video, in the videos you watch. So like I said, check out Eric, check out William, check out our playlist, and by all means, check out Jeff Lawton. And folks, yeah, egg prices are going to go much, much higher. The prices of everything that are made with eggs are going to go much, much higher. And folks, this may be the opportunity, the golden opportunity we've all been seeking for, to get ourselves off that tit, to get yourselves out of that grocery store. Once you, maybe you find out in this system, you know what, man, maybe the chicken tractor on steroids ain't for me, but you know what? I could still feed my pigs and I could still feed my chickens and cut my costs quite a bit. Maybe you don't do the chicken tractor on steroids. Maybe you just supplement your feed with some of the methods that I teach you. Folks, it's all there. So sorry this video went on for so long because I really don't know how to condense it. I mean, and there's no way I can explain it to you all right now. You're just going to have to watch the videos. You can learn it. And if you have any questions along the way, like I said, William is actively doing it right now, and so is Eric. I don't actively have one going right now. In fact, I'm waiting on some birds. I'm going to do it with the breast birds. I haven't done it with those before, but I've done it with just about every kind of bird or chicken you can think of, except for Cornish cross. I don't believe those will work in that system. Maybe they will, and I just haven't explored, or maybe you'll figure it out. But it just wasn't something I wanted to figure out. So, good luck to you. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for your support. Until next time, stay alert, stay alive.